The greatest villains are the ones that were once the protagonist. You know, they're heroes of the story that did terrible things to become the villain. Now people call them villains, but we all know deep down inside they have good intentions. I think this is something that can be said for Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan. When we first met him, he was just a fun-loving boy that wanted to explore the world outside of the walls, but over time, we see his inner turmoil of wanting to see the world and his hatred for the people who could unsee beyond their own selfish needs. He didn't want to live a life bound by fear, which was what the people in the city of walls were doing. And even though he was loved by many and considered a hero by most, he still felt this emptiness inside of him. He wanted more. Now, in my opinion, I think Eren Yeager was at his best when he first got introduced. In the very first scene of the anime, we see him making a plan with his adopted sister, Mikasa, and his best friend Armin to sneak out of the walls so that he could go explore outside. This showcases not only his curious nature, but also his desire to protect his friends and loved ones. In fact, this was one of the biggest character traits of Eren, his loyalty and willingness to help those close to him. For example, after the death of his mother, he vowed to exterminate every single Titan that exists. But what's really interesting here is that he wasn't just fueled by revenge, but rather an intense hate for the Titans. Something that I think made him human, because we as humans don't usually hate an enemy that we don't know. We just hate what that enemy has done to us, or our loved ones. So what made Eren different? What made him stand out from the rest of humanity? Well, something that I thought was quite interesting is that while he hated the Titans, he actually had a deep respect for them. Remember that scene where he looked up to the colossal Titan and whispered to himself, "What a beautiful Titan." And if you remember, he didn't want to kill every single Titan, only the ones that were enemies. In fact, he believed that there had to be a reason why the Titans attacked humans, and that they must have some kind of purpose. His inner monologue goes like this: "There must be a reason why they're trying to exterminate us. If I could find that reason and change it, then maybe I could save everyone." Here we see that he doesn't believe that the Titans are mindless monsters, but rather they have their own will and desires. And it's this mindset that made him unique and different from the other characters. In a way, he reminds me of Goku from Dragon Ball, who doesn't hate his enemies even after they try to destroy the Earth several times. In fact, Goku actually envies their power and wants to fight strong opponents. And this mindset allowed him to become the strongest warrior in the universe. So in a way, Eren Yeager was the Goku of Attack on Titan. He was always looking for a challenge, something that would test his limits. And the Titans provided that challenge. But there was another aspect of Eren that made him special: his humanity. Unlike the other soldiers that wanted to exterminate every single Titan, Eren didn't hate the Titans. Instead, he pitied them. And this inner turmoil is what made him so interesting. It made us question our own beliefs, and made us think about what we would do if we were in his shoes. However, I think his internal conflict didn't only come from his views on the Titans, but also from his views on humanity. As I've mentioned before, he didn't just want to live a normal life as a soldier, but he wanted to see the world. And during his training, he constantly argued with the other soldiers about his beliefs. He was willing to sacrifice his own life to save the lives of innocent people. And this inner turmoil eventually led him to join the Scouts, an elite group of soldiers whose job it was to venture outside the walls and discover what lay beyond. And when they finally ventured outside the walls, they discovered the truth. They discovered that the world was full of danger, but also beauty. They discovered that there was more to humanity than just fear and hatred. And this discovery changed Eren forever. It made him realize that the world was bigger than he ever imagined and that there was more to life than just fighting titans. And although he wanted to show his friends and family this beauty, they saw it differently. They saw it as a threat, something that needed to be destroyed. And this difference in perspective is what caused the downfall of humanity. Because while Eren wanted to see the beauty in the world, the others wanted to destroy the world to protect humanity. This brings us to the main point of this video, which is that Eren Yeager was never a villain, but rather a tragic hero. He was a hero of the story that did terrible things to become the villain. Now people call him a villain, but we all know deep down inside he had good intentions. You see, after discovering the truth about the world, Eren became obsessed with finding a way to change it. He wanted to make the world a better place for everyone, but his methods were extreme. He decided to use the power of the Titans to destroy the world and remake it in his own image. And although this may seem like a villainous thing to do, I don't think it was. I think it was a desperate attempt to save the world from itself. Think about it. The world was in a state of constant war and destruction. There was no hope for peace or happiness. And so Eren decided to take matters into his own hands. He wanted to destroy the world so that humanity could start over. And although this may seem heartless, I don't think it was. I think it was an act of mercy. He didn't want to see his friends and family live in a world full of pain and suffering. He wanted to give them a chance at a better life. And although his methods were extreme, his intentions were pure. He wasn't driven by anger or hatred, but by love. He loved his friends and family too much to see them suffer, and so he was willing to sacrifice everything to protect them. And this is why I believe that Eren Yeager was never a villain, but rather a tragic hero. He was a hero of the story that did terrible things to become the villain. Now people call him a villain, but we all know deep down inside he had good intentions. This is the first video on this channel, so if you're enjoying this series of videos, make sure to let me know by leaving a like or comment or sharing it with a friend. And if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to support me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.